So create an Apex class employee. Let us do it in a sequential order. Let us do it in a sequential order. First, start with create an Apex class employee. Just create the class, that's all. Create an Apex class employee. Create an Apex class employee. Create an Apex class employee. So how did you create? Public. Right. Now, is it accepted? Can I define this? Is it valid or invalid? What was this? Oh, class, outer class cannot be, outer class cannot be private. Now I gave protected class. Is it accepted? Is it accepted? What was it? Outer class cannot be. Now, so the outer class has to be what? Only public or global. 90% we go with the public. Only when you want to write web services, we make it as global. Otherwise, public. That is the reason every class I was taking as a public. Only when you are going with the web services, I will take it as a global. Right. So, as we are not doing any integration right now, every class of us will be public. Okay. Then, second example, create a class employee with name, age, salary, experience as data member. Create a class employee with the name, age, salary, experience as data members. Create a class employee with name, age, salary, experience as data members. Everyone make an attempt of writing, boss. We'll clarify all your wrong myths, what you have got. If any wrong notations are there, we'll clear off. Create a class employee with name, age, salary, experience as data members. Now, I'm first giving it string name, integer, age, this one. Right. Now, is it accepted? Is it accepted? Same story again.
Has to be public. Public.
Now, data members is our choice. Depends upon the context. Now, I'm taking it. Now, depends upon the context, we'll decide. Is it accepted or not? Is it accepted? Public.
Yes, it is accepted.
Satish, what is this protect?
We'll understand them. First, understand the access modifier. Let's not get into next round, next step. Now it is an access modifier, private, public, protected, global. Let's not jump. Let's not jump. Right. Now what are the different types of access modifiers we have? Global, public, protected. So protected is also one of the access modifier. Now when we are going to use, that we'll discuss. We didn't get into inheritance and all this stuff. Right now you know that it's a protected which can be used in child classes. Right? I cannot give more than that at this level. Right, boss? Somebody from online. Okay. Now the first one is accepted. Now class can be a public, yes. Data members can be private, no problem. Data members can be public, no problem. Data members can be protected, no problem. Data members can be global, no problem. But when should I take depends upon our requirement. When should I take depends upon my requirement. When should I take private? When should I take public? When should I take protected? When should I take global? Is my requirement. Now, all these are accepted, right? Data member can be a public, private, protected, or a global. Now I have create a class, employee, name is. Now, name should be used only in the class. A should be visible in the class and child class. Salary should be visible in the class and outside the class. Experience should be visible in the class, outside the class, and outside the organization. Now look at the point. If I want to use the global in the class should be global. That's why I modified. If you want to use a global in the class should be global. Now you design the example, and this is clear for everyone, right? Is it accepted? Accepted? Yes. Go to the next. Now create this. Now your question online, someone girl has asked me. Now your question will be answered.
Okay.
Now create a class employee with the name, age, salary, experience. Name should be visible only in the class. Age should be visible in the class and child class. Salary should be visible in the class, outside the class. Experience should be visible in the class, outside the class, and outside the organization. Now who will define this? Your requirement will specify this. Here I gave, but actually as per the requirement you have to understand this. Now design the class accordingly. Design the class accordingly. Global class. Why did I give global? Because in the class I want to take a global variable. First, name should be visible only in the class. If you want any variable to be visible only in the class, it should be what? Private. Should be what? Age should be visible in the class and in the child class. Child class means inheritance. Okay. Now don't ask you how to write the inheritance. Now we are only looking at, okay, it can be accessed in the class and child class. When you go to the inheritance, I will show you how to use it. How to define only we are looking at here. How to use the protected members in the inheritance concept, we will see it. Now it is protected integer age. Right. Why you are taking protected? I told it should be visible in the class and child class. If the variable should be visible in the class and child class, that should be given as protected. Then salary should be visible in the class and outside the class. In the class and outside the class means Now, should be visible in the class, outside the class, outside the organization. This is how you have to decide. Now, when you are writing a program, where the variable should be used, according to that, we have to define the data type, access modifier. I hope you are good. Any further query on this? Clear?
Okay. Satish, can you global data member under the public class?
No. Now,
Okay.
if the class is public, the members in the class can be private, protected, or public. Class is public, then members can be private. Class is global. That's what I answered here. Now, if you give it as a public, data members can be what? As per you, I not writing data members here. Okay. Data members can be private, protected, public. If you define a class, global. So if you want to define a global, the class has to be okay. Right, boss? I hope this is clear for everyone. Okay. Now, as per your requirement, it is not always public. It is not always private. It is not always global. Your requirement will tell what it is. Your requirement, based on the requirement, we have to decide whether it is a public or a private or a protected or global. Generally, we take public. General practice is public. Okay. The next. Create a class. Employee. With the name, age, create a constructor. I just ask you to create a constructor. No initialization, nothing. Just create a class with the data members, create a constructor. Create a constructor. No. Complete the top one. Complete this example. How did you create? Public, class, then what are the members we have? Public. I told you generally we take public. Right? Then ask you to take constructor. How do you take a constructor? Public, public employee. Create a class with the data members, name, age, salary, experience, and create a constructor. Create a constructor with this. Create a constructor with this. Now, let us complete the remaining. Let us complete the remaining. Create a class employee with the name, age, salary, experience. Create a constructor and assign the values. Name as Satish, age as 34, salary as 20,000. How do you take it? Public, class, then I took public, string, name, public, string, name, public, digit, age. So we have taken a class. Then I asked you to take constructor. How do you write a constructor? Public, employee. I asked you to write a constructor. Public, employee. Then what we ask you to do? Name equal to Satish. I told age equal to 34. Then I told salary equal to 20,000. Is it necessary that every value should be initialized? Not necessary. Now, as per my requirement, we want to set the following three members. As per my requirement, I want to set the following three members. I have set. I hope you are good. Clear? What is your query, Amma? What is your query? He followed 50%. If you ask him, he will give 25%. The 25% will explain someone else again. You are paying fee to me. Ask the question. I'll answer your question. Right? Now, look at the point. This is what you got here. Right? Anyone has any query on this? Right. Let us go to the, I hope everybody is good with that. Still, anybody has any query on these concepts? Good with this? Good with this? Right. Then go to the next one. Create a class, employee. Create a class, employee. Do this example. Online, anyone has any query? Assign EMP name to name, EMP age. Do these examples. Still, anybody has any query? Let me know. Online, anyone has any queries on this? Anyone has any queries on this online? Now you are done with public class employee. Then we are supposed to take public string public decimal. I ask you to take a class with the data members, and I ask you to take constructor with the parameters. What is my constructor? Employee. What are the parameters I ask you to take? String, emp name, and integer. I ask you to create a class with a constructor with parameters. Class with a constructor with parameters. Anybody has any query on this? Am I clear? Okay. Then continue with the next example. The same example we are doing from the first, but we are adding a couple of additional things to the extending the same program. Now, do the last example. Create an employee with a name, age, salary, experience. Create a constructor which will take emp name, age as parameter. Assign emp name to name, emp age to age, salary as 10,000, experience as 5. Yes, sir. See, if you don't write any constructor, system will create a default constructor. If you already create a constructor, system will not interfere. System will interfere only if there is no constructor. If you already define a constructor, system will never go with a default constructor. Coming, see, any one constructor you define, system will not interfere. Default constructor will come if there is no constructor in the class. Okay, if you write a constructor with the parameters or without parameters also, default constructor will not come. Default constructor will come if there is no constructor. No constructor means any type of constructor. What? Now, go with this. Everyone has done this. How did you define? Public class employee. Then we had public string name, public integer, public decimal salary. So we had public employee. Now I ask you to take string emp name, integer. Now what is our requirement? I told assign emp name to name. So name equal to emp name. Then age equal to emp age. Whatever the value we gave here, that is saved to name. Whatever the value we give here, it is saved to age. The remaining things I told, salary equal to 10,000, expense equal to 5.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
Sir.
Go ahead, Emma.
Sir, can we write name equal to name, sir?
Come again?
Here,
Yeah.
EMP name equal to name. Can we write it, sir?
Now you want
Is
to
it
you
wrong?
want to assign a equal to 10. Then will you write a equal to 10 or 10 equal to 8?
No. My question, sir. After give this constructor, sir, this public employee string EMP name, integer EMP age. And here next EMP name equal to name, is it right or wrong, sir?
That's what I'm trying to convey you, boss. If I want to say name should be Satish, will you give Satish equal to name? Or will you write name equal to Satish? Out of this, which is right?
Name
Right. Now, what is your requirement? Whatever the value that you assign here, this value should be assigned to name. That's the reason we write name equal to emp name. What is your requirement? Whatever the value you are passing here, that value should be saved to this. That is the reason it should be written as name equal to EMP name. Right, Amma?
Right, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
name is a database column and EMP is a variable. You can pass any value
Now
that
again,
goes to database ultimately.
now again, let us not get into extra terminology. No database, no tables here. It's only right
Okay.
local
Okay.
variable assigned to EMP. Right. Now let us come back. So the point here is whatever the value we got here, it is a variable. It is a variable. The value in this variable we are assigning to this variable. As simple as that. Now what does it mean? Value of age is assigned to A. What is the value? Age. Value of EMP name is assigned to name. As simple as that. Right, boss. Okay. Now let us get into the next one. Let us get into the next one. Create method show, which will print the create a method show, which will calculate values of salary and experience. Age above 30. Salary 50K. Experience. You got stuck up at any point, let me know. We can take one more repetition on the same exam. Create a class employee with a name, age, salary, and experience. Create a constructor and assign the values, name,
Even I can ask some
yeah,
question.
go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I think it's out of box question. Actually, while assigning the values to the constructor, right? While assigning values from the constructor, can we use the concept called this?
See, that will be coming when you go for the concept of similar data type matching. That is the reason I have taken a different names here. When I will take a same names, I
Okay.
will be using a concept called this. Okay.
Yeah. Just to say, that's
Just
why I asked.
yeah,
Thank you so much.
just to avoid that point at this level, I just give different names.
Yeah.
Done? Everybody has written this? Or waiting for me to complete? No. Public class employee. Public string name. Public integer age. Public decimal salary. Then I ask you to create constructor. Public. In the constructor, what I ask you to do? Take name equal to Satish is equal to 34. Then I ask you to create a method. What is the method? Public. Now, which will calculate. Okay. Now, what is the difference between constructor and a method? Constructor will be called only once. Method can be called a number of times. That is what? Whenever I call that action will be performed. Every time you call show, logic in the show will run. Every time I call show, logic in the show will run. So how many times I can call show? Number of times. Constructor will be called only once. By looking at this, how can you say it is a constructor? It is a method. Constructor will not have any runtime. Method will have runtime. Constructor will have the same name as class name. Okay. So looking at the method, can you say it is a constructor or a method? Okay. Constructor will not have any runtime. It will have the same name of the class. Method will have runtime. It will be having a different name. Then I told you to write if age above 30. Let's salary equal to 30,000. Experience equal to. Then I told salary equal to experience equal to. I hope you are good with this. Clear for everyone? Okay. Now,
So, Satish, sorry, one question. So, if I don't put void in the method, so what will happen?
it will be error.
Oh,
Only constructor will not have runtime. If you define a method without runtime, it will be error. I hope everybody is good with this. Okay. Clear? Now, let us start creating the object.
Please scroll up, sir. One second. Please scroll up. One second.
Right. Let's go with the object creation for the same.
1 second, sir. 1 second.
Make it faster. What is your query? Okay. Now, let us get into the next one. Now, we want to understand create a class employee with a constructor create object. Create a class employee with a constructor, create an object for the class. Here is the first example. Object from the class. Create a class employee. Create a constructor with a name, age as parameter and print the values. Create an object for the class. We are planning to create an object. Is the object creation, class creation is done at the same place? Definition of the class is at one location, execution is at the another location. Right now we are executing from anonymous window. Future will be executing the class from pages, Visual Force, FX programming, triggers, web services. There we execute. Right now we are learning only basics of hoops. I am executing from anonymous window. Okay. Now create a class employee. How did you create? Let me show you this. Now, how do you create? File, new, FX class, employee. I asked you to create a class employee with a constructor. Just print anything of your choice. System.debug. Now, will the dummy constructor will come now? No dummy constructor. If you define any constructor, there is no dummy constructor. Now, class we have created, right, Amma? How did you create an object for this? Debug, execute anonymous window. How did you create? Employee. Now, should I call the constructor separately? No. At the time of creating the object, constructor is automatically executed. So when I go to execute, click on execute. So constructor will automatically execute at the time of creating a object. What is that? I am constructor. Is that was good? Clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? Am I clear? Okay. Now the same. This is what I create. We created a class with a constructor. How did you create an object for this? Execution. Then create employee emp equal to this is how we create. Right. Next one. Create a class employee. Create a constructor with a name and age as parameter. Create a class. Create a constructor with a name and age as parameter and print the values. Create a class employee. Create a constructor with a name and age as parameter. So go back to this. Create a class employee. What are the parameters? String, name, integer, age. System.debug. Name means what? Whatever the value that is here, that name we are printing it. It's a variable, right? Name is a variable. Whatever the value we have in the name, we are printing it. So who will give that value? Whoever is creating the object, he has to pass the value. Whoever is creating the object, he has to pass the value. Right. Now the question, your question was last. Now, will it create a dummy constructor? Will the system create a dummy constructor? No. Why? Already there is a constructor, right? If there is no constructor in the class, then dummy will come. But we already had a constructor here. I have defined my own constructor. When you define your own constructor, there is no concept of dummy constructor. Dummy constructor will come only if there is no constructor in the class. But we had one constructor here, so there is no dummy constructor. Okay. So let me see. Let me show you. I'm giving employee emp new employee. Now run it. It throws error message. What is that? Undefined constructor. Why? They are saying very clearly, if you want to call this constructor, you have to pass the value of name and age. Now it is clearly saying, boss, you are supposed to pass the value of name and age, then only I will execute. This constructor will execute only if you pass name and age. Now I give only name. Satish. Satish is what? this Satish will be saved to. What is the value of name? Whoever is creating the object, he will tell the value of name. Name is Satish and he told age is 34. Now what is the value of the name? Name is Satish, age is 34. From where I am going to pass? When you are executing the program, you have to tell the value of a name and age while calling the constructor. While executing the program, whenever I write with the parameters, at the time of executing the program, I have to pass the value. When I say parameters, at the time of executing, you have to tell what is the value of name, what is the value of age. I hope you are good. Okay. Now let us go and execute. Now I am printing the name. So what is the value of name? Name Satish. So what was that? Whatever the value I was passing there, that value is coming here. Name is Satish. Age is that I was using here. Is that was clear? Is that was clear for everyone? Clear? Let us do two more examples.
Satish, I tried the same thing, but I am getting constructor not defined error.
Not saved. Save the program first. You're finding a star mark on the top. Check out. Check out. You have a star mark on the top, right?
Yes.
Save the program.
Okay, thank you.
Now look at this. Now let us try a few more things here. I hope people are following the creation of object. Same story.
But Satish, I have.
Let me give you an exercise. Let me give you an exercise. Online, please do not interrupt me during the only when I am doing the exercise and ask the questions. Create a class. Create a class. Let us say account data. Create a class college with name, phone number as data members. Create a constructor. Create a constructor with college name, college phone as parameters. Assign college name to name and print the values of name and phone. Create a object. Create a object. Create a class college with the name, phone as data members. Create a constructor with the college name, college phone as parameter. Assign college name to name, college phone to phone. Print the values of name and phone. Then we had create the object for the class. Complete this example. Yeah. Go ahead. Somebody is asking a question.
So okay, in the before example, right? So if I execute only employee of Satish and 34, still it will display the name and age, but object will not be created. Is that correct?
Yeah. You want to say only this, right?
If I give only employee of Satish and 34 and execute it.
No. You have to give new employee. Constructor will run only with the new keyword.
Okay, so if it is method, it works. So as I said, right?
No, nothing. You have to create an object and call it. Nothing in the class will run directly. You have to create an object and use it. No member in the class will execute directly. You have to create an object and call it. Class is only a template. It will not execute. As the class will not execute, we are creating an object and executing it. Okay, now?
Okay. That's
Right. So any member in the class you want to use, you are supposed to create object and use it. Without object, we cannot use anything in the class. If you want the class to execute, you want any logic to run in the class, any logic defined in the class, you want to run it, you have to create like a object and write. The question is, I want to run this logic as whom is the question. So you have to specify it first. Okay.
Satish, if I want to change the values of name and age, then I have to create a new object.
Reassign. No, not necessarily. You can reassign. No, this is what I have given. You can write a logic and assign. Modification is allowed, right?
Yes.
What is this? Right, Amma. People are done. Right, don't wait for to copy. There is no use if you copy the programs. I told you very clearly. If you are only copying the program, you can start one more institute instead of me. You will not get a development. Now, let us go with this. New Apex class. New Apex class. Then in the college, what I asked to take? Public, string, name, public, string, name. This is what I told. Then what I told? Name equal to. What does it mean? Whatever the value we are giving to this college name, it is saved to name. Phone equal to. Now somebody has asked me a question in the beginning. Can we reassign it? I am printing the value of name. Right. I have created a class with the data members, name and phone. Created a constructor which is taking college name, college phone. Assign the name equal to college name, phone equal to college phone. Right. Now, go back. How do you execute it? Execute anonymously. Is it accepted? Right? It is expecting what? Parameters. No. I gave it like this. Now, what is the value of college name? Now we will take the college, run the college with the name called college name CBAT, college phone number 040123. Execute. Can you open the last door? Can you open the windows also? Right. Now, what is the name we are getting? Name equal to CBAT, phone equal to 040. Now, what was this? Name equal to CBAT. Now, what is that? Name equal to college name. What is the value of college name? CBAT. That is assigned to name. Okay, what is the phone number? 040123. That is assigned to 040123. That is assigned to phone number. I hope you are good with this. Am I clear? Am I clear with this? People are good with this example, right? Let us do a few more examples on the same. Now, create a class student with name, branch, fee. Create a class student with name, branch, fee. That's. Create a constructor. Create a constructor which will take name and branch as parameter. It will take student name, student branch as parameter, and assign the values of student name to student name to branch. Create a method show, which will calculate fee and tax if branch is CSC. Create a object and print the values of name, branch, fee. I ask you to print the values using what? Object. I'm not printing the values in the method. I'm asking you to print the values using object. I'm asking you to print the values using object.
Hi Satish, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Amma.
In the previous example, you were told that assign college name to name and college phone to phone. While writing, I gave college name is equal to name, and calling in system debug, I gave college name and college phone. That also will print the values, but is that the correct way to do, or?
Right. Now I gave the same question I answered. A equal to 10 is the answer. 10 equal to A is not the answer. What I ask you to do, assign the value in the EMP name to name. What does it mean? Whatever the value we have in the EMP name, that I want to save it to name. This will be given like EMP name. If I say assign the value name to EMP name, then the value in the name is assigned to EMP name. So you will be giving EMP name equal to name. Now what is my requirement?
Yes,
Right.
college name to name.
Next I give name. If you don't assign any value, what is the value of name? Null. If I give EMP name equal to name, what is the value we are going to get?
Null.
Then I gave EMP name equal to Satish. I was passing using a constructor. I passed EMP name. I told name equal to EMP name. What is the value of name?
Satish.
But if you give like this, what is the value of EMP name?
Null.
Right? Got it?
Yeah.
Create a class student with a name, branch, fee, tags. Create a constructor, assign the values. I hope all the topics what we covered till now is clear for everyone. Right? So, yes.
Constructor is used only for assigning the values. We can't put any condition, right?
We can use whatever the logic we want, but that will run at the time of creating the object.
Okay.
Before you use the object, if you want something to happen, then we write in constructor. Before you use the object, you want some logic to happen, then we'll write in the constructor. I hope everybody is comfortable with this. Still, any more queries? Any more queries? Clear for everyone? Okay. Now let me go ahead with the next part of the story. Let me execute this program. Now, I think already I wrote a class called student. Class student, public, string, names, branch, and what is the other one? Fees and tax. Public, decimal, fee, tax. Now I ask you to create a constructor. Public, student, string, std, std. I gave name and branch. Then I told name equal to std, branch equal to std. Right. Then I ask you to create. I ask you to create public void. In the show, what did I ask you to do? If branch equal to CSC. Then I ask you to create fee equal to tax equal to. This is what I get. Anybody has any query on this format? Right. See, the first example straight away I told name equal to Satish, branch equal to Shivi. But here, I don't want to take the same value for everybody. I don't want to give the same value for. At the time of executing, you tell what is the value you want to give. According to that, I will run. At the time of execution, you tell me whatever the values you want to give, I will take. Previous example, I told straight away, name equal to Satish, okay, experience equal to 2, city equal to Hyderabad, straight away I give. But here I don't want to give, I want to assign the values at the time of execution. Now let us look at this example. I am executing the program twice. I told student. Then I told std dot show. Why? If I use std dot show, if I say std1 dot show, logic in the show will run. When I say std1 dot show, logic in the show will run. Right? If you don't run this, what is the name? Name is, okay, sorry, I was supposed to give. I gave CS. Now, what is std name? Satish. What is std branch? CSC. This is assigned to this. This is assigned to this. std name is Satish, branch is CSC. std name is Satish, branch is CSC. Then, if I say std1 dot show, this logic will run. Then, how do you print system dot debug name? How do you refer std1 dot? I have to call everything with what? I cannot call directly show. If I call directly show, it throws error message. Execute. Void show from method does not exist. Why? You have to call along with the object only. Okay, use the data from this object. Run the logic call show. Use the data from this object. Run the method call show. Use the data from this object. Run the method call show. Then we are taking system.debug. We have std1 dot. Then we have right. Now again, I am running the program one more time. Student std2 equal to. Now I am telling run this program again with the student name as Ravi, branch as EC. Did you get my point? How many objects I can create? Number of. This object 1 is running with the student name as Satish, branch as CSC. Object 2 is running with object name as object 2 is running with the name as Ravi and branch as EC. I hope you are good with this. Right. Again I am running. Now I am not giving same value to everyone. I am not giving same value to everyone. I am assigning the value at the time of execution. You are assigning the value as per your requirement. Did you follow this point? Did you follow this point here? Boss, we are not giving the same value. We want to give different starting values. I don't want to take a same value. I want to take a different value for different objects. For object 1, name is Satish, branch is EC. Object 2, name is Ravi, branch is EC. Object 3, name is Prasad, branch is Ravi. Right? No, I don't want to give like this. If I give name equal to Kiran, branch equal to CSC, then what will happen, boss? For object 1, name is Kiran, branch is CSC. For object 2, name is Kiran, branch is CSC. Object 3, name is Kiran, branch is CSC. You want to have the same value for every object, you give it like this. For every object you want to have a same value, then you give it like this. No, I don't want the same value for every object. As per my requirement, I have to change. Then what I will do? This is the structure I follow. I hope you are good. Clear for everyone? Now, why are you taking parameters? I want to take a different value for every object. You want to take a same value? No need of parameters. Straight away you can say name equal to Ravi, branch equal to CSC. I hope you are clear. Then execute it. When execute, student 1 will run. Student 1 will run. Name Satish, CSC 5000. 2000 is the tax. Ravi, EC 80,000, 5000. Prasad, EEE 8,000, 5000. I hope you are good. Am I clear with this? Right? Have you got the concept? Now, any member in the class you want to call outside the class. Any member in the class you want to call outside the class, how will you call? Create a object for the class, object got variable, object got method. Is that was clear? Any member of the class you want to call outside the class, any member of the class you want to call outside the class, you have to create object and call it. I hope you are good with these examples. Still anyone has any query on this? This is what we have done for the class couple of days. Right? We have revised the entire structure. Any further queries from your end? Any further queries? Right. I hope. Yeah. Wait. Function. Calling a function inside a function can be done. You cannot define a function within a function. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. Right. Okay. I hope you are good with this. Any further queries? Clear for everyone? Everyone is good with this? Okay. Now, let us go to the next point of the story. Now, can we write more than one constructor? Can we write more than one constructor in the same class? Right. Yes, we can write it. Then it is called overloading. What we call it as overloading. Now, what is the overloading? We want to define more than one constructor in the same class. That is called overloading. The question is, why you want to define? Question is, why you want to define? Now, let me give you. I told you in the first class we have taken an example. You went to a restaurant, you had your lunch, you want to pay the bill. Now, will every customer pay the bill in the same way? Somebody may go with credit card, somebody may go with a debit card, somebody may go with cash, somebody may go with coupons. Depends upon the customer convenience, he will go for it. If I say I will accept the bill only through credit card, what will happen? Some of the customers will not be coming. Am I right or no? Am I right? So if you say this is only the way you have to do it, then there is a restriction. Some of the people may not be convenient. Some of the people may not be convenient. If I say this is only the way in which we can use, some of the people will not be convenient. To make it more convenient for the people, we want to define the same functionality in more than one way. Design the same in more than one way. Generally, I give the example. If somebody, now Government of India passed a GO saying that if anybody want to propose a girl, this is the procedure. Right. Now you have to write a letter and propose, write a poetry and propose. Now if they give it, 90% of the proposals will be stopped. Right. Not everybody is convinced with it. Now if you want to make it user friendly, there is a different way. So defining the same action in more than one way to meet up different requirements of user. Defining more than one function in different ways. Defining the same function in more than one way to meet up different requirements. Let us say I am searching for the data. In the Google, when you are searching for a particular data, let us say you want to search about me. Somebody may search Satish Maila. Now my schoolmates want to search. Right? When my schoolmates want to search, they give Science School. When my college mates want to search, they give some college name. When my employees working in my company, they want to search me, they search based on my company name. The students of CapInfo search based on CapInfo. Now what is that? Now the same person, the data what other people possess may not be same. Now you know me as a trainer, you know my name as Satish Maila, and you know I am working in a Captain. But my employees know my name and they know the company and designation for which I am working. Right? My classmates doesn't know my company or my institute name. They know my school name in which I study. Now different people may search based on different criteria. Somebody may give name, school name. Somebody may give name, school name, college name. Somebody may give name, institute name, technology we are training. Somebody may give name, company, my designation. Right? So in all the cases, what the people are doing? Searching for the data of Satish Maila. In which way they are searching? Based on the data what they possess. According to the data they are searching. Now if I Google say you have to search based on first name, last name, age, phone number, then what happened? Nobody will search. Am I right? Now not everybody has the same data. Not everybody has the same data. Am I right or no? So if you want same action to be defined in more than one way, then we go for overloading. What is the concept called? Overloading. If you define more than one constructor in the same class, if you define more than one constructor in the same class with different number of parameters, different type of parameters, different order of parameters, then we call it as constructor overloading. I hope you are good with this. So let me give you. Everybody is comfortable with this, right? I'm going to the next concept of overloading. Everyone is good with this? Constructor overloading. If we define more than one constructor in the same class with different number of parameters or different type of parameters, or order of parameters, then we call it as if you define more than one constructor in the same class with a different number of parameters, different type of parameters, different order of parameters, then we call it as constructor overloading. Right. Now let us take an example. Public class example. Public example. What was this? Constructor with 0 parameter. Constructor with 0 parameter. Then we are going to use it. Example. Constructor with 1 parameter. What type of parameter is this? Example. Number of parameters are only 1, but type of parameter is 0 parameters, 1 parameter. This is also 1 parameter, but this is integer. This is public example. String name integer h. Public example integer age. Now what is it? Number of parameters are 2. Here also number of parameters are 2. Type of parameters are string and integer. Here also string and integer. But order is right. So I can define more than one constructor in the same class with different number of parameters, different type of parameters, different order of parameters. First and second number of parameters are different. Second and third type of parameters are different. Third and fourth, okay, fourth and fifth number of parameters are same, type of parameters are same, but order of parameters are different, right? So when you call it is a overloading if you define more than one constructor in the same class with different number of parameters, different type of parameters, different order of parameters, then we call it as constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. But at the time of creating an object, how many constructors I will call? Only one constructor. At the time of creating an object, How many constructors we can call? Only one constructor we can call. I hope you are good. Clear? Okay. We'll see the execution in the coming class. But before that, I'll clarify 2 points. The definition is clear for everyone. We'll see the execution in the next class. But before that, let me clarify a few things. Let me copy the code here. I'll clarify a few questions here. Did anybody delete the code what I pasted here? Do not delete the notes what I pasted. I think class notes was missing here. Okay. Now, look at the point. We have discussed about the class object concept, right? Now again I repeat. Object creation. This is object creation. This is object creation. Object which was created, we are referring with equal to new creation of object. What is this? This is creation of object. This is creation of object. Only this is creation. Object which was created, we are referring with this variable. Are you clear? This is the object creation. We are referring with this variable. Right. So when you say object creation, whenever I use a keyword called new, it will create an object. The object which was created is referred using a variable, which we are calling as reference variable. Remember that point. That is could be a key role in the entire development. Now, object creation, new. Whenever we encounter new keyword, it will create object. It will create object. Whatever the object that was created is referred with reference variable. I hope you are good. So that's all from my end. And tomorrow is a holiday.